so
Kevin
good.
McCullough.
Welcome back. It is That Kevin Show from Times Square, and very glad to have you with us, and very honored to have Ashley Hayek back with us. She's the author of Beat the Cheats. If you haven't gotten it, it will explain exactly what needs to be done, and I think we're doing it. I think that we've made a lot of progress on how to square this election and get it done legally and properly and by a good margin, but we're going to have to all do our part come November 5th or before then. But Ashley, you were talking about the extremism of the Kamala ticket, and they're going to try to hide it. They've already tried this little tactic of, adopting Trump's policies. Like the day she finds out she's going to be endorsed by everybody, she goes, "Well, I'm for fracking now." And of course, Pennsylvania and Ohio, and like, well, why now? Why not the last 3.5 years when you've been destroying jobs in our energy sector? But even just this last week, she's out saying, and we got to end the taxation on tips, which is a direct steal from Donald Trump. He introduced this back in April. Is the press going to give her a hard time for being the copycat Kamala?
There's no way. First of all, how amazing was it to see how she was the worst vice president in history she's God's gift and amazing literally overnight. That was pretty astounding from the mainstream media. But she plagiarized President Trump's no tax on tips plan. She doesn't have an original thought in her body. She can't debate him, as President Trump said, because she's not a very smart woman. And she's very political. She does what is politically convenient for her. And that's not what the American people want. Look at her Green New Deal. She actually has never said, "I'm for fracking." It's her staff behind her and her surrogates that are putting it out on her behalf. But she is one of the biggest proponents of the Green New Deal, which will
She was a
kill jobs
co-sponsor in the Senate.
Absolutely. Michigan and Pennsylvania and Ohio, that has major ramifications in those states. So she can try, and you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. They can try and cover it up, but she has an incredible track record. Look what she did as district attorney in San Francisco. Look at her role as California Attorney General with Prop 47 and 57, which led to rampant homelessness. And then now the smash and grabs that are happening in the state with businesses shutting down that have been there for generations. This is a woman who is radical across the board, and nothing is going to change. And remember, she was the one in the room when all those big decisions were made. When Afghanistan, Abbeygate is coming up, the anniversary of that. She was in the room, a part of that decision. She was the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which didn't reduce inflation at all. It caused
multiplied
massive inflation. Exactly. Right. Who allowed? So she also was part of legislation that empowers and adds 87,000 more IRS agents to go after low and middle income families. So I don't really care if you say you're, no tax on tips. Everything you've done in your career has been the exact opposite of empowering the American worker.
Well, and that's the thing that I really do think that the American voters, if those of us that have microphones can speak up and speak out, we're not going to ever overpower the legacy media. But the fact that we have social media, the fact that we have sources of information, the fact that we have places like Salem Radio and Salem News Channel, townhall.com and others that can provide the actual facts of the narrative and not just a spin on it, I think is going to make a huge difference. My concern, and this can come back to kind of full circle to your book, but do we have the ground game? Do we have the lawyers in place? Do we have the modifications in the laws necessary to ensure that we have a less dishonest election than we had the last go around? And Ashley, you wrote the book on it, but what's your sense of where we're at?
Well, first of all, I'm very thankful we have Michael Whatley and Laura Trump, who are at the helm at the RNC. They've already recruited, I think it was over 100,000 poll watchers, which is absolutely critical. There's still time to sign up to be a poll watcher. We need poll watchers and poll workers. And I think just knowing that there are people who are willing to be in the room when those votes are being counted is critical. AFPI
I had not heard that number. 100,000 is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And it's so important. And then having the attorneys to be on to be there as well. I know that they've been working on recruiting attorneys, and I believe they're close to their quota as well, but they need more. We need as many people. We need all hands on deck. When you have someone who's trying to cheat and you have, the judge in the room watching, people are a little bit more cautious about whether or not they're cheating or not. So we just need more people, all hands on deck. And by the way, Pennsylvania early vote starts in 35 days. We cannot take anything for granted. It's no longer election day. We just launched a campaign, Red, Right, and Win, to share, if you're in California, with the people in the battleground states, the draconian policies of Kamala Harris through a letter writing campaign. We'd love to have more help with that as well.
All right. And that's all at the America First Works website. All right.
Yes.
Ashley Hayek, thank you for checking in with us. We will talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Sounds great.
You got it. Kevin McCullough coming right back from Times Square. Don't go anywhere.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.